leave Brutus' house, and then Portia, Brutus' wife, came and begs him. She just begs him to tell her what's going on and what is going on from this meeting. There is something unusual is happening, and she felt it, though he refused to tell her anything. And then if we see that by the end of the play, she stabbed herself because she thinks that she's not, to prove to himself, to prove to Brutus himself that she is stronger than any other woman and worthy of his trust, but he didn't trust her and he didn't tell her what is he thinking of. So, in the meanwhile, and since it was a very night, California, Caesar's wife, had a dream, and she dreamt that Caesar himself as if he's having a statue, and has a statue as if there is, a huge amount of blood, as if a fountain of blood coming out of the statue. She wakes up from her dream, and she was very, very afraid, and she urged Caesar to stay at home by telling him, stay at home because I feel that there is something wrong will happen this morning. So as if she's, this is also one of the omens. The dream is also one of the omens, and Caesar himself laughs and telling her that I will not stay at home, rather I will go to the capital, because it's nonsense, because he doesn't believe in superstition and in dreams as well. And not only he doesn't believe in superstitions, rather he believed he believed himself as if he's a god figure or someone invincible that cannot be cheated or cannot be hurt by any other person. So California herself begged him, and he refused, and he received, I guess, his name is Decius, and he's also one of the conspirators who came in the morning to take Caesar to the capital. And Caesar told him, I cannot come to the capital because I myself don't have the will. I don't want to come, not because my wife is telling me not to come. And when Decius asked him what's going on, he said that, okay, California dreamt that there is something wrong will happen today, but Decius himself telling him her dream is interpreted in a different way. Your statue will be something very important, and instead of, being a fountain of blood, and that you have to come to the capital, otherwise everybody will laugh at you for not coming because you listened to your wife. So Caesar went with Decius to the capital, and he met the Senate and the people surrounding him. And at the capital, the conspirators came, and they have a dagger, and they stab Caesar in front of everyone. And the last one to stab Caesar was Brutus himself, and it was very, very hard because Caesar himself turned his back and see that Brutus himself was stabbing him, and he told him, et tu Brutus, which is a very popular word in the play, which means even you Brutus, as if he's telling him, even you Brutus, you deceived me. So can you imagine this? It's very hard. Then Caesar falls and dies. So imagine that there is a crime in front of you. What would you do? So there was a huge panic among the Senate. And the conspirators don't know what to do, and they were very afraid that the people either might oppose them or might agree with them. So one of the things I think in my own self and my own thinking, when they killed Caesar, they never thought of what will happen later on. They only agreed upon killing him without thinking of the consequences of this, of this horrible deed, let's say. So, okay. So they were afraid whether the people will support them or oppose them. And, Antony at that time, he was also kind of like he didn't support them, and he asked he asked his servant to go to Brutus and tell him, shall I come and just speak with all of you? And Brutus agreed that Antony to come and speak with him. So Antony came, and as if he, pretends to make himself, you know, um, it pretends that he supports them and he's with them, though he truly hated what they done with Caesar, because Antony has a great relationship with Caesar himself and he loved him. Okay, so what they decided to do is that both of Brutus and Antony speak up in front of people and speak of their, try to convince people of what is happening. So at the beginning, Brutus give a short speech explaining his reasons for killing Caesar. And he said that I did that for the sake of Rome because I believe that Caesar himself is ambitious and he's growing in power, and we were very afraid that he might hurt the citizens of Rome. For this reason, we killed him. And the people truly agreed with the Brutus speech, and they just applaud to him, and he leaves. And then Antony after that came, and he claimed to be supporting Brutus, but he's not, and he started to speak with people and started to stir up their people's emotion by telling them that Caesar was not actually ambitious, though Brutus himself is saying that Caesar is ambitious. He's telling them that he refused the crown 3 times, he was with you and he was helping each one of you, and he has, written a will, and if you see the will, you would be very, very sad because he left a couple of things for each Roman citizen. And he was very successful in convincing people. So Antony uses one way to stir up the people's, let's say, emotions and thinking. This way is called rhetoric. And rhetoric at the funeral of Caesar is very, very important theme. So what I mean by rhetoric is the use of language in a really effective way, or in a, in a way of persuasion. When you want to persuade something, you use this way of, manipulating the words. So this is what Antony was doing, and he really succeeded in doing that. So when the people were very agreed with what Antony has said about Caesar, so they started, there was a huge anger among them, and they moved towards Brutus' house and Cassius' house and tried to kill them. So what happened? Both of Brutus and Cassius flee Rome, which means they got out of Rome, and because they were afraid that to be killed. Okay, so. Okay, so when they got out of Rome, they formed their own army. So both of Brutus and Cassius had their own army. And then on the other side, we have Antony and Octavius' army. So Octavius, we can say that he is the nephew of Caesar, Caesar's nephew. So of one side, we have Brutus and Cassius army, and the other side we have Antony and Octavius, who is Caesar's nephew, on another side. Okay? So both of them, both of the armies decided to meet on one day, but before this, meeting happened, or before the two armies engaged with each another, what happened is that Brutus at night saw Caesar's ghost at night, and he said that I will show there again at Philippi, as if Caesar's soul is there waiting for revenge. So what happened at the battle is that Brutus' troops were defeating Octavius, and Antony's defeating Cassius. And then after that, Cassius believes that this is all has been lost, and that he killed himself rather than being captured by people. This is what Cassius thinks. And also Brutus thinks after his army is finally defeated, he also commits suicide. So the army that won the battle here, Antony and Octavius, both of them won the battle. And Antony, after Brutus killed himself, expresses his admiration over the body of a Brutus, and he said that he is the noblest Roman of them all. If you think of this sentence, you will imagine that what Brutus did was only for the sake of Rome, not only for other things. While what Cassius did, as if he was very, out of anger and out of fear of Caesar, and as if out of envious. Okay, so try to think of what Brutus did and what Cassius did, and try to make a comparison between both of them. I hope I made myself clear during this, little bit summary that I gave you here. And I hope you stay home and are safe. And I will be downloading another video file so that you can have also a clear idea about what is happening in the play. And I will also explain the characters, the characteristics of the characters themselves, and the themes, the important themes of the play. I hope you stay home and safe. Thank you.